All right. Hello, everyone, ladies, gentlemen, gamers, and everyone else. Welcome back to another discussion video. So, today I was kind of thinking about this random thought that hit me. It was kind of sad, but also kind of reminding us, right? Well, reminding me. Ironically enough, this image is going to go against what I'm talking about. This image is probably for some fucking business saying, yeah, look at our business people. You work so hard, but don't worry, keep working till you get to the goal at the top of the mountain. It's ironic that this image is that's probably what it's used for, but that's kind of gonna be the opposite of what I'm talking about here. So basically, I had this thought of kind of what is it all for? This is something that I've fallen prey to as well, and I think it's a very big problem in society. And people will always tell you, uh, you know, this isn't all it is. Kind of remember what it's all for. What are you doing this for? What's the big goal, right? What is the goal of what you're doing? What is the goal of life in general? It's a very complicated and hard question, but overall, I think the problem, and this is a very easily identifiable problem, and that is that we are too focused on the rat race. We are too focused on the money, on the whole thing of what life has now become in our current day. Remember, life wasn't always like this. Granted, life was worse in many other ways in the past. Overall, though, what life has become now, in my eyes, is sort of a rat race. Now, what is the rat race? It's kind of a weird thing, right? It's kind of a weird idea of it's this thing you have to do, but also it shouldn't be the way it is, and it's not good, right? A lot of people say having a job that's unfulfilling, like a regular business job or a regular office cubicle job, is unfulfilling. I'm not going to say it's not there without a purpose. Obviously, it has a purpose. People need to live, people need to get paid, and also, if they're working, they pay taxes, which does help society in different ways if our government fucking uses it, right? But overall, there is a purpose there. There's multiple purposes there, but it feels somewhat disconnected from a higher purpose, right? Our only purpose in life is not just to work, pay bills, taxes, and die. It should be to enjoy ourselves and have self fulfillment. Now, I always am going to put this here whenever I mention a topic like this, and that is, it's always good to do what you want. I think the goal of life ultimately is to do what you want and have the most enjoyment and fun and just pleasure, any positive thing you can get out of life as much as you can. But I also think the huge caveat should be here of it should not be at anyone else's expense. It should not be at the cost of someone else's happiness or someone else's joy or someone else's pursuit of happiness, anything like that, right? You should try and find happiness, and thankfully a lot of people exist that they do find happiness from other people gaining their happiness and helping them find that. We need more people like that in the world. However, I feel like it's become just a fact of reality in the time we're in the dark dimension we're in that I often talk about. It's become a fact that we've become so focused on just money, money, money. We need money. We need to earn money. It's all about the money. And this whole career we don't want and we have to get higher in it, and it's kind of soul sucking and soul draining. We don't really want it. We convince ourselves we want it a lot of times. Again, this isn't to say this is how it is for everyone. I think this is how it is for most people, because I think more people than not are in a job they don't enjoy, which, that's going to be a fact of life. There's always going to be a job, at least I think for a long time, unless we change a lot as a people and automate a lot of things and get technologically advanced. I think there's always going to be a point where someone is getting the short end of the stick. It is unfortunate, but I think it's the reality of someone is going to be stuck doing the job no one wants to do. It's just, are other things going to be better, so that's not going to be as bad for them. And I think in this current time, we are in a spot where you have to make things you don't want the main focus and priority of your life. You have to be in the rat race, right? The rat race, I call it, is every day when I go to work, when people go to work to a job they don't like, to make money, to just be able to afford to live, right? I think we're past the point as a society where we're struggling to live. I think it's more of a problem of greed and just, people not sharing, and people, ultimately it's greed. But I think we are definitely at the point in society where if people weren't greedy, overall we can have a way better baseline than we do now. This might get a little political, and I don't want it to be, because it might sound like at this point, I'm advocating for some sort of communism or socialism where people are guaranteed things. But I think, in a way, some people would agree on certain facts that everyone should be guaranteed water. If a person is poor and starving and they don't have a home, they should at least be able to have and drink water, right? Unless you're really, really evil in our scope of morality today, and you don't even think water should be free and afforded to people, then I would say, hot fucking damn, you're very cutthroat. But in general, I think people do agree that at some levels, there should be a baseline of things that everyone should have, right? I think everyone should agree that a job, a full time job, should be able to provide the means for everyone to at least be able to afford to live, right? I don't like this idea of areas being madly expensive and then the jobs in those areas not being able to afford you living there. At that point, who the fuck is going to have those jobs, right? How are you going to have people in an area making, I don't know, let's say the minimum wage of that area, and then have the area cost like 100 times what they could make in like any given month? It doesn't make sense to me. But regardless, that's kind of going off topic here. Overall, right, I think what's happened is it's become a lot more problematic economically as of recently, with the war in Ukraine, which is going to disrupt gas prices. And once gas prices are disrupted, everything else is disrupted. And just in general, our government doesn't really know what it's doing. The Federal Reserve is kind of ruining the economy for a long time. A lot of people, or economists, I would say, or people who actually study the shit more than I do, that's what they've been saying. I'm not going to pretend I know what I'm talking about. I'm just going to kind of echo what they have been saying and what we can all basically see if you live in New York and America, how just prices have gone up and things are kind of going bad. And from what they're saying, the Federal Reserve is really just being stupid, fucking up, and has been kicking the can down the road for a long time. Regardless, though, I think that the rat race has become ever more prevalent nowadays because people are unable to make enough money and they have to save. It's all about the money because they're scared they won't be able to live. We've become trapped and caught up in this race of, having to do things we don't want to do, which again, that is going to be a fact of life. But to the relevance and to how much it consumes people, people lose sight of what life is really about. And I think that is objectively wrong and bad because then it leads to a lot of people being depressed. And it's not a good way. I think almost everyone can agree. And everyone can agree it's not a good way to live life. Obviously, if your work pays enough or if your work has a general benefit to people in society, let's just say you're working in healthcare or animal care for that fact, and your work provides a pretty concrete benefit that most people can agree on, I think it's fine to be in that rat race. I wouldn't even consider it a rat race anymore. I consider the rat race something that you don't want to do, is not really necessary, and it's kind of there just because it's been set up that way. Maybe it was relevant or had to be that way in an old time, but in this day and age, it shouldn't be that way. Maybe it does have to be that way, but I think it's wrong that it has to be that way. But then that goes into higher level issues of then other things need to be changed on a higher societal level, and then it gets muddied. But overall, I hope people understand what I'm saying when I talk about the rat race. So I think, again, life is about enjoying it as much as you can without leading to or having it be at the expense of others. But again, because the way the economy is and all the focus is about, money, 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 we just lose sight of what it's all for. Life, I really, really hope, I don't think there's a hard concrete purpose to life. Even the purpose I'm saying here of, having as much fun as you can, that's not a hard purpose. That's just, I think, a purpose we should all agree on and I think is the best for us. But then is what's best for us with the current path we're going actually good if we take a broad scope look at things on how we affect the planet and everything? Because at the rate we're going, if we're going the same way and we're going to be greedy, then, maybe it's all right for us to suffer and kind of start dying out. But that's kind of a bleak view because I think not only should we care about us, we should care about a lot more than just us, the species we affect, our planet, the longevity of everything. We should just try and improve everything. But before we improve everything, we do have to focus on ourselves. And like I said, I think we are in a dark time in our dark dimension where the rat race has ever consumed our lives. And the rat race, yet again, is something you don't want to do. And it's something that even if it is the way it is, because it has to be, it shouldn't be, and it's wrong that it is that way. But overall, yeah, just remember what life is really for. Remember to try and enjoy yourselves. I feel like people do not enjoy themselves enough and get caught up. I know I certainly do. I've succumbed to the rat race, and again, I have my own demons. But hopefully that sheds some light on anything. Hopefully people enjoyed it. People enjoyed me rambling and ranting. If there's anything you want me to talk about, anything you want me to think critically about and talk about on the channel, you can leave it in the comment section below if you made it this far. Thank you so much. I stream every day, mostly at Twitch TV/Tecnics channel. So if you want to talk with me live, I'm over there. And I don't bite. I love all my viewers. I don't bite. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed. Eee!